allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for being here. Nice to see engagement. So as I usually do, if you haven't been here or haven't watched from home, I'd like to introduce the people around the table tonight. So Christine Keller, our town clerk and welfare agent. John Paciotti, counselor. Stephanie Thibodeau, counselor. Michelle Flewelling, our town manager. Peter Lawrence, our counselor. And myself, Matt Townsend, counselor and chair. So the first order of business are the public announcements. Details may be found at www.fairfieldme.com and or via our social media presence. Number 1, Fairfield is hiring in all departments. Contact the town office. Number 2, in December, council begins reviewing applications for upcoming volunteer positions on local boards and committees, including the following: Budget Committee, Planning Board, Land Use Board of Appeals, Economic Development Committee, Board of Assessment Review, Voter Registration Board of Appeals. And if you are interested in serving your community, please complete an appointment application form available online or at the town office. Appointments are made at the town council's January annual organizational meeting. Number 3, the 2024 dog licensing tags are available at the town office. Current 2023 dog licenses expire on December 31st. Your local veterinarian should make sure that he gets his dogs licensed at that point. So, number 4, the Lawrence Public Library Christmas. So this is, I'll make a couple statements here. People talk about things to do in this town, and I just want to point out the Lawrence Public Library. Alyssa has done an incredible job of providing extra services and growing that library. So Christmas Around the World festivities for all ages. December 15th, 1 p.m., music at 2 p.m., welcome winter celebration, ornament making, refreshments, fiddle and guitar music with Bien Sur. December 18th, 2 p.m., Jalaka, I should have checked, I should have pronounced it beforehand. I did it once. Jolabaka Flood. We'll go Flood. Icelandic tradition. Community book exchange with refreshments, activities, and a hot cocoa bar. That sounds good. International New Year's countdown kits, December 28th and 30th. Ring in the new year with a different country all day following the world time zones. The LPL kit includes chart, New Year's goodies, activities, and recipes from countries around the world. Special events, regular and seasonal programs may be found at the LPL social media page. Number 5, again, something that is really impressive that the Fairfield Police do. So Fairfield Police Cops Care for Kids program for Fairfield residents will be in person at the Community Center, December 21st. Sensory-friendly hours from 9 to 10 a.m., regular hours from 4 to 6:30 p.m., with home delivery for Fairfield residents. Unable to attend in-person, home delivery is scheduled for the same evening. Sign up at fairfieldcopscare.com. And so that's a great program. If you have a chance to see that, it's really impressive. So, non-emergency town services will be closed on December 25th and 26th in holiday observance. So, the second order of business, public hearings. So we'll call the first hearing to hear public comments on the application of a special amusement permit renewal for the purposes of entertainment, music, and dancing submitted by the VFW Post 6924 located at 246 Main Street, Fairfield.
The manager can review the protocol.
So if you are on Zoom and would like to make a statement for this public hearing, and if you've had a recent Zoom update like I have, you would need to click on More and then go to Reactions and then do the Raise Your Hand button. And that way we'll be able to call on you so you'll be able to do your comment. But I don't see any at this point in time.
There are no impediments for this application and permit renewal.
Any comments on our end? Hearing closed. Now, for the third order of business, public comments. Limit of 3 minutes. Members of the public may speak to the council or request opportunity to speak on a specific item that is on the agenda, or may email comments to for council to info@fairfield-me.gov by 4 p.m. day of meeting. Submitted content may be read aloud at this time.
I do believe we have somebody in Zoom that submitted written content but wanted to read it aloud.
Okay? You wish to start there?
That person does not appear to be there at the moment, so.
Okay.
I can wait till the end. I have it somewhere. I can read it
Okay.
aloud for him.
So open the comments.
Good evening. I'm State Representative Shelley Rudnicki. Like many of you, I've been following some of the comments on the local Fairfield community Facebook page. First thing I wanted to say, because a couple of people have actually requested tonight concerns about what they're allowed to say, but I just wanted to let you guys, let everyone know, it's Title 30A, Chapter 121, which is meetings and elections under the state legislature, so that they can find that information. So if you have questions and concerns, that's a great place to say it. Like many of you, I have been following and have some concerns. I do have one question that I'm going to ask the council, and I hope that you will answer me. And that is, when was the last time that this council evaluated the one and only employee you have?
So that I can speak for our council.
Yes.
And that would follow I'd have to look at the dates, but that was last year following the normal protocol for HR matters. So following the review.
Well, I would like to see it actually where it was, in what agenda it was, and I'm sure the rest of the folks would, to know when that happened. And I would also like to request, a formal request from the council to the public, a copy of the town manager's contract, because we are paying that bill and the taxpayers would like to see an actual copy of that, please. And that's all I have for this evening. Thank you.
That can be done.
Hi, my name's Paul Nichols from Fairfield. My concern is I sent an email to you, Matt, correct? Pertaining to the property by the library.
Yep.
And I had many questions about that. Then because I apologize, I misspelled your name on the
That's all right.
original email. But, and I also sent a copy to every other members, but I never got a response. Don't know why, but it kind of goes to show as to why we...
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead and finish. It's your public
just,
comment.
You know, I know that last meeting, there was a little bit of controversy about how many people actually go on to the Fairfield page and air their concerns. Well, when I send an email, that's a personal invitation, and get no response, I just don't think that's respectful to me or any resident that does that. So I asked also about if this was going to be on the agenda, and you sent me a message when we were correcting that, correct? And you said it was going to be on the agenda for tonight.
Yep.
I didn't see it.
Yep. So the meeting is not over yet, is it?
Pardon me?
The meeting is not over yet, is it?
Okay, so
And
that will be addressed?
you did also say, well, again, I'm not going to really debate, but you did say that I responded to you, right? In a message?
You did respond to me, and I thank you, and that's how I made it correct. And I wanted just to apologize to you for saying that I did send you an email, or actually a couple. One saying I didn't get a response from you, and then I corrected that and said, you're right, I acknowledged my error.
Yep. And then you got a response. So that's good.
If there's going to be discussion, I would like to talk about that tonight.
So you're reserving the right to speak on which item?
There isn't one.
Is it one on the?
There isn't one, but.
I don't know what the topic is.
So there's a discussion about the good home, and the other homes. That's not on the agenda tonight because of all the other items that were on it. But we also still have workshop to go.
I still didn't capture the subject.
There's discussion about the houses that are scheduled for demolition.
Okay.
And that was an item that was discussed.
More specifically, it was a lot of questions as pertaining to why that house was purchased in
Yep.
2008. Nothing's been done with it, and it's still sitting there. And there's a whole lot more in that email, and I'd like to share that. Not right now,
Yep.
but so that's all I have about that.
You good?
And I
Thank you.
apologize. What was your name and address?
Paul Nichols.
Yeah.
Paul
we're
Nichols, and you're a Fairfield resident?
Right at 3.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cody Duncan. I am a Fairfield resident, lived here for a couple of years now. I'd just like to have 2 quick comments. The first one is that it's great to see this many people participating in our politics and our local politics. And I've sat in on one meeting in person. I've tried to attend via Zoom, and life gets hard, and there's a lot to deal with, and you can't always attend all these meetings. But it's great to see all these people in person. I would like to now comment to the council that it is a bit concerning to see how some of the concerns that have been brought up both on the Facebook page and even just now at the last gentleman, in the way that we are treated as civilians and as residents of Fairfield. I wasn't really planning on saying anything, but Matt, your response to that gentleman right now, when in reference to the agenda item that had yet to be discussed that he didn't see here, to end that statement with "this meeting isn't over, is it?" And I recognize that the council is in a stressful and highly public position, and it can be a lot to deal with. But at the same time, you are elected representatives of our town, and I would hope to see that sort of respect that we afford you all. It's just a little concerning that to have this amount of people here in this meeting now, and to still see the sort of smug attitude is a bit concerning to see from council members. Now, I'm going to go back down and I'm going to sit and I'm going to listen, but I would like to please remind you that you are elected representatives, and it would be nice to be treated with respect as residents of this town that have very valid concerns, especially regarding the taxes and the performance of the town and the events that are put on in town. I said I've lived here for a couple of years, and I've yet to see anything really held.
I'm going to start keeping time. Thank you very much.
Sure.
You're about to wrap it up?
Can you stand there for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. As counselors,
So I don't actually want to,
Yep.
I don't want to get into debate
Yep.
tonight.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Point of order,
What we
point
got?
of order.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
So, all right.
No,
That's good.
it.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Mark Pantamala, 16 High Street in Fairfield. Hi, Michelle.
Address anything to the
You
council.
writing a
Mark,
letter to Santa Claus?
Mark, that is out of
asking for a
order.
$20,000
Out of
raise?
order. And I will call in the chief. Do not address her. You want to address the council, please.
Chairman, one of the big disrespects I see here tonight is the town manager. And the whole time that gentleman spoke, she looked up once. You're not gonna look at me. You talk about a disrespect coming right from the top.
Point of
There-
order.
How is that out of order?
It is.
How is that out of order?
Personnel matters regarding the town manager must be directed privately via email to the chair.
This isn't personal. It's right
It
here
is.
tonight.
It is.
It is not personal.
It is.
It's in the prohibitions in that blue brochure.
If you have something
We're not allowed
constructive,
to-
if you have
We're not
something
allowed to-
respectful and constructive to say, we are all ears. If you don't, then please stop.
We ask for a little disrespect, we get it. Michelle, look at me when I'm talking. Would that be too much to ask?
I'm sorry. You're done.
Last time.
Is it too much to ask, Michelle?
You're done.
Last time. You're supposed to address to me. That's just the way it is. Sorry, that's the way it is. And if you have a question for me, and I can pass it along, I will do so.
Why
That's the way it
would
works.
the town manager not look at the people?
That is not
talking?
her job to look at the people. You're addressing the town council.
You're a hideous thing. They got a job in Skowhegan. Why don't you take it?
Clear, done. So, no, that's all right. So, again, respectful, constructive. Thank you. All right.
Good evening. My name is Sarah Tully, and I'm the owner of Sarah's Cabin. I would like to thank the people of our community and our town who made our first season a very successful. I wish I had $1 for every person who told us, thank you for bringing life back into our town. We needed this back in April. Oh, sorry, I messed up a little bit. When we first started this in April, to open up Sarah's Cabin, we were told many stories of how other businesses who tried to come to our town only to be discouraged by the town manager and the people that work there. They went to other towns where they were welcomed and encouraged to open there. They got Dunkin's, Armados,
So
and
that's
Aroma Joe's.
hearsay.
Huh?
So that is hearsay. It's not constructive.
This is not a court of law.
It is constructive.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
It's supposed to
whatever.
be constructive.
But anyways,
I can't read
You cannot
read
do
it.
that. It's
I'm not
a
going to
court of
debate.
law.
I'm not going to debate.
It's not a court of law.
I'm not debating.
So this is a municipal government proceeding. It's the council's meeting, and these requirements are not optional. I'm sorry, but that is the rules.
I'm not trying to be, I want to have constructive
Yeah.
communication. Always have, always asked for it.
can I continue?
You sure may.
Okay.
Freedom of speech.
I'm sure there are other businesses too. I don't have any names and don't care, but they are leaving Fairfield with empty lots, abandoned buildings, and no life to our main streets. When we first started filling out the needed paperwork, we were asked every single day to fill out some kind of a form. We were even asked to fill out a certain paper form that they didn't even know what it was. But we were told to just fill it out anyways because it was in our folder. And that form was for a structure, not a food truck on wheels. Why is it that we had discussions every day for the whole month of April after we were instructed to make a plan of where the trailer, the tables, and everything, including the parking lot and the flow of the parking lot? We did that, and then they got DOT and others involved in the flow of our parking lot, only to be told at the end of the month that it was exactly how we had it on paper. Many times we thought about giving up on the corner property, and many times we fought back because we wanted to stay in our hometown. When we asked CMP about hooking up power to our food truck with the meter that was next to the lot, they said, no problem. We can just switch the meter over and send you the bill every month. My husband went to the town office, and because we thought the town owned it. And a certain person said no. And it wasn't until after we were all done with the summer that we found out that the town doesn't even own the meter.
30,
So every day,
30.
huh?
I'm trying to give you a heads up, 30.
Okay. So I ended up having to carry my food in and out every day, morning and night.
because we ran on a generator. I got people to help from the town to decorate the gazebo, which I thank everybody. And only one person from town council helped. We need people that work for the town to help, and we get nothing. Why can't we be like Gardner
So-
and other towns?
Very good. I thank you. And if you have a complaint along those lines, again, I would ask you for constructive criticism, and that needs to be actually put in writing and presented, and then we can act upon it. Otherwise, it's hearsay. It is. We like to act on it.
Hi, my name is Matt Tully. I'm High Street in Fairfield. The hearsay comment was directed towards me personally, so I was there and listening to it. So it would have been, something that she would have overheard. So the comment was addressed to me, and factually is what she said is what happened. My first issue with going into the town was basically the same thing. There was obstruction right from the beginning. Nobody showed up with a notebook and said, hey, how can we help you? It was negative remarks from right from the beginning. My sister that's in the audience tonight, she was trimming a tree and picking up drug paraphernalia underneath needles, garbage, trash, all of that, and they called the police on us. That would be the town manager.
So, again, do you have proof of that?
Yes, I am the proof. She called them on us. Okay.
So I would still, point of order, so I would
Point of order.
still have that, if that's an HR matter, if you're having a problem with her. So
I'm directing this to you.
Yes, but I'm telling you, it's an HR matter, so discussing person's performance has to be documented and submitted, and we follow that protocol. So if that's an issue that you have a problem with her performance, I'm all ears. That's what we have to listen to. And I'm ready to respond to that in following our procedures.
But you and
our
I have had
protocol.
discussions about this prior while I was sitting at my table eating a
Still should be-
cheeseburger.
Still, if you want to have an action upon it, it should be submitted. And that's what I'm just telling you, point of order.
Yeah, I'd like to reserve my time too for that.
Yeah, by all means.
So,
Well, if
Point
I
of
had to-
order.
But I had to, if I took up some of his time, I'm okay.
Point of order. He can't reserve the right to speak on an executive session. No one
No,
can.
what I'm saying is, point of order, he still has his time.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Go ahead,
I'll
Matt.
set, okay. So from that point on, it was remedied after that. A arborist showed up and we had discussed how the tree looked. He said it should have been cut up another foot to get the matting taken care of because the acidic levels were killing the tree. So all of that was done in vain. So the community center was a big issue as topic as well. The stove's still not fixed. The house next to the library, I need to have a question, answered. I was told that it was deemed unsafe. I'd like to find out who said what and when from anybody.
I'm not
I'm
sure.
directing it to you
Sure.
because I was told not to direct it towards her.
What's that? Thank you. Yeah, we can, so you can look back through, and the building is not open for inspection. It's been boarded off, so I would say it's unsafe. Has
So
been
who
for quite
says
some
that?
time.
I guess that's my question is, who? Because Matt Townsend says, you're a veterinarian, right? If you go up and say, structurally it's unsafe, that wouldn't be just for you to say that.
We can bring that up in a workshop, and that'd be.
Okay, that's awesome. That's what I didn't get the last time. That's perfect. So the walking bridge down there was supposed to go from there to Main Street from the island. What happened to that?
That's long ago, and actually, we can discuss that in the Mill Island project.
I guess I wasn't here for
We
that.
could, if you actually wait, we'll have, actually going to talk about that in the Mill Island project.
Okay.
And that's not a part of the whole plan.
And I'd like to reserve time on the ice rink too, that's coming up for discussion. Reserve to speak on that as well.
It's not a public portion of that.
No, it's on the agenda though. I'd like
Right,
to
but it's
speak on
not
that.
something you reserve, that's not a public hearing that
Okay.
you reserve the time for. Depends, it's a council meeting. and if we need to have a comment, we may ask you.
And like Sarah was also saying too, Peter was the only one that showed up for the decorations, and
So,
Representative Rudnicki as well. We need more involvement from everybody. Somebody said, oh, the town has to do it. The town has to volunteer. Well, we're all here. We're all part of the town. Just because one doesn't mean, has to do everything. We all need to help.
very good. Thank you, Matt. And I will, as a point of order, I will say, because I was actually challenged to decorate a tree. Let me speak. I was challenged to the council was challenged to put a tree out. Guess what? There's a tree that I went on Saturday morning by myself, decorated by myself, had it ready for that, and had lots of nice comments. So please don't say that no one was involved. I was in New Hampshire when you decorated. I told you that. Right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, so let's stick to it.
I have a point of order, please, Mr. Chairman.
So,
Initially, when you
point-
started,
So,
my point of
no,
order is-
no, we got her speaking now. Sit down. It's her time to speak.
My name is Penny Harkins, lifelong member, resident of Fairfield, and I've participated on chairing the Land Use Board of Appeals. I've been on the Budget Committee, so I've tried with my time to serve this town because I love Fairfield. Okay? Most people don't know about my business. I'm up near Hinckley. I have the most beautiful saltwater ocean aquarium shop, probably in the United States. I've been there 26 years doing this. How many people know about it?
You need to direct comments to the
Yes.
chair.
So, thank you. So, the town of Fairfield hasn't done, at least for my business, anything to help, get the word about my business out there. Okay? So, you all have been watching the public Fairfield Community Facebook group. You had a feeling that there was going to be a really good turnout today. Yet you stuck us in your regular room, and there's a lot of people having to stand. Why it couldn't have been moved into the larger area, I don't understand why, but that shows disrespect for us, and it doesn't encourage us to, or the town's people to want to participate, if you can't accommodate the people that want to participate. Lastly, I want to say, council, you were elected by us, or they tell us that you were anyways, and the majority of the people,
Disrespectful.
the majority of people in this town have no confidence in some of the people that manage the town. So basically, if you continue to refuse, just like you did with the
Don't make me have to do
PFAS
that all
vote
the
that we
time.
had, and you continued on with the public water issue in that, if you continue to ignore us, I'm here to tell John Bisciotti, Stephanie Thibodeau, all of you, that if you want to continue to be against the residents you are serving, remember, servant, we have ways to be able to remedy that, and we will. Thank you. Good night, you guys.
Nice. Appreciate that. That's good.
I think we should remind everybody of how to act during this.
Once again, I want conversation. You can shake your head. No.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Point of order.
I am trying to do my best in a difficult situation. We're trying to give you time to speak.
I really
Trying to
didn't
hear.
see why you
Okay.
gavelled her like that. I really-
Because you,
I'm trying to-
following our guidelines, saying elected, were you even elected? That's
Embarrassing
short.
my elections.
Yes.
Permission to speak.
No, Christine, no.
Good evening. My name is Beverly Burst-Mott, and I reside in Fairfield, and I've been here for quite a few years. And a lot of you probably remember me because I was on the town council for 3 years and served. A lot of things have changed, and I've seen that here tonight. A lot more friendlier when I was on the town council, I can tell you that. I do have some issues with, I have seen some things on the community page which mentions somebody who went around and got donations for a Pacific project. And from what I understand, it's been shot down. I'm not happy with that, and I'd like to know where the money went for that and what's going to happen with that.
That's on the agenda.
For a good many years, Fairfield has been going down the toilet. I hate to say that. You know, a lot of businesses have failed. With the new Sarah's Cabin, I was elated over that. In fact, I've patroned it quite a few times, and their food is delicious. As far as some of the things that have happened here tonight, some of the things I agree with, like taking a certain person out of here. Some of the other things I do not. I see arrogance and rudeness with some of the council people, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wants?
The gentleman on Zoom.
Does anybody else want to speak?
That's Max
Yes.
Kenny.
Yeah, I was just looking here.
Go ahead, Max.
Go ahead, Max.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right. Good evening, councilors. My name is Max Kenny. I wish I could be there speaking in person tonight, but I tested positive for COVID this morning. My family has lived on Ohio Hill Road in Fairfield for generations. I was born and raised here in Fairfield and have been actively involved in the community since elementary school. I moved away to attend college and start my career after graduating from Lawrence High School in 2012. During the pandemic, I moved back to town. I bought a house and I look forward to raising a family of my own right here in Fairfield. Since this past summer, I've seen an uptick in mostly online community concerns. Many people have taken to a specific social media group to air their personal grievances with our municipal staff and community volunteers for things like permitting requirements, public spaces, infrastructure, Fairfield's business climate, and even local election integrity. The hateful, misleading, one-sided, and often flat-out false attacks on our town staff, officials, and citizen volunteers, in my opinion, are the wrong way to bring about positive change in the community. I would encourage anybody concerned with our taxes to apply for appointment and consideration on the Budget Committee. Anyone concerned about community events, the Economic and Community Development Committee. Anyone concerned with the lack of development and growth, the Planning Board. My parents owned and managed a staple Main Street business for the majority of my life. So I've seen firsthand how businesses that partner with the town and the community can flourish. Over the past 8 years, the town has welcomed many new businesses, which have expanded our tax base, increased employment opportunities, and diversified services offered to our citizens. BDS Waste Disposal, Auburn Concrete, Meridians, Family Dollar, Aurora Health, MB Tractor, Riverjack Tavern, Dialysis Clinic Inc., Centerline Communications, Blue Lobster and Seafood, The Big Apple, Gregory's Disposal. The list of businesses that have worked with the town to open their doors or substantially expand operations goes on and on. During a period of the worst inflation I have seen in my life, the many hardworking department staff from the library to public works, their department heads, and leading the ship, our town manager, have maintained a flat municipal budget for the benefit of every taxpayer in this community. Somerset County and the school district, which take the majority of our tax dollars, they cannot say the same. While a few residents, and quite frankly, many non-residents, like to jump on the online bandwagon and bash town and town employees for doing their job, enforcing our citizen-developed ordinances, and fighting to keep our taxes stable. Following extremely strict state statute, please don't forget about the majority of us who keep quiet and appreciate the hard work done every day by the town manager and the rest of the town staff. I would encourage council and taxpayers of Fairfield to support the Mid-Maine Chamber of Commerce's 2022 Municipal Employee of the Year, our very own town manager, who has the knowledge, experience, and dedication to continue to lead Fairfield towards a better future for my family and yours.
You're done, Max. Max, you're done. Your time's up, Max.
3 minutes. 2 minutes ago.
I'm done. Yeah,
Well, several other people went over.
Everybody went.
Stop, Christine.
did you hear me trying to speak? I don't know where.
No, just keep moving.
Keep moving. Who's next?
My name is Kelly Frazee, live in Fairfield. My question to you, Matt, or council, is what are the qualifications of a town manager?
Stephanie, you pulling that out?
I have to find it amongst all my paperwork, but yeah. Hold on. Give me a minute, Kelly. Less than a minute. This won't count against you.
Okay, I'm counting.
Do you have another question while I find it?
Yes. Our fire chief? Our new fire chief?
Yes.
Is that his only position that he holds?
Is not. Michelle, would you like to speak to that?
So we have a full-time fire chief. Like with all of our staff, what they do with their time off is on them.
Can a fire chief hold a fire chief position in this town and also hold a fire chief position in another town?
You're their
That is
supervisor, so
completely
I will.
legal and happens quite often, actually.
During the fire chief's process, was it sent out to the public for a regular hiring process, or was it done without anyone of the town knowing?
So, Michelle, you're his supervisor?
The fire chief hiring process was done within-house. It was advertised within the department, and it was hired from within the department, so it was not publicly advertised. There was no need to. We had someone that we were able to move up in ranks.
Next question, are you ready, Stephanie?
I am, Kelly.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. There are two specific documents that we have in the town. One is the Code of Conduct for appointed and elected public officials that outlines how a counselor is supposed to act, and we have to follow these.
I'm just talking about the qualification to become a town manager.
Oh, you said counselor.
Town manager.
Oh, town manager. I'm sorry. I thought you meant counselor. No, I was looking up the
So
code.
does any of our town, Matt, what is the qualification?
So we can look at our charter, if there is one. As long as I have to look back at the hiring process, that was before my time. So we can provide that to you.
Provided to the public as qualifications.
It's actually.
So I want to talk about the general assistance fund that we have for the assistance of Fairfield. We all know that heat, firewood, food, shelter, on and on and on. What is our balance in the general fund? General assistance fund?
I don't have that in front of me. So, Michelle?
Actually, you do. It's $8,975.
Out of the 8,000, et cetera, is what was left over from last year that was not used? What was left over last year?
Yep. Again,
That was not
we have
used?
to look at the budget and look at those numbers. Is that available, Michelle, or can we,
I don't have it readily available, no.
Well, I can tell you.
but that can be provided?
It was about $7,000 that was not used for our public. Where does that money go? Well, that goes to the general fund, per Michelle.
So,
That goes to a general fund. So what I'm suggesting to you is you put on your Facebook general assistance and what it is used for. Our folks don't know what is out there. Oh, it's on the web, it's on the... No. Put it on your Facebook. And, you keep rolling it over into a general fund. And what is the heating fund? What is a heating fund balance? And where does that money come from?
You want me to talk about that? Sure. Kelly, the general assistance, we usually put in the budget, it's a very low amount.
$10,000.
Very low, and it's reimbursable by the state. Correct me if
50% of it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and you need to let me talk, please. Correct me if I make some errors there, Christine. Currently, our fiscal year-to-date net cost to the municipality has been $0. That $10,000 that gets put into the budget every year is so in case we go over the amount that's given to us by the state, we can...
No, that's not correct.
Okay, that's not correct.
That's not correct.
I need help then.
The state of Maine reimburses us 50% of what
which
we
Kelly said.
provide.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. Okay, Christine.
It was recently increased to 70%, but this is all regulated in statute, if I may speak.
yes.
Welfare and general assistance is regulated in statute. It's highly confidential. And
I need to- I
not
need
only-
to-
She needs to finish speaking.
Okay, yep.
No,
right.
I need to interrupt you because I have firsthand knowledge from your town manager how this system runs. So my next question is, you have a general assistance fund, then you have heating fund. What is the balance of the heating fund?
I don't have that in front of me, but we can find that out.
Does our town manager have that?
She may
I
not.
don't have that in front of me, no. We can get that, though.
Okay. And the other question, where does that money come from? Does it come from donations, from businesses within the town? And has the town refused? Now, I'm going to say this really slow. Has the town refused any money from any organization to put in these funds to assist the town residents?
We will look into that.
You might be able to answer,
So
Christine?
the answer is no, we haven't refused any funds. The primary supporter for the ancillary account is the Fairfield VFW, Post 6924 or 34. And again, it's confidential and it's administrated through the town council's administrative policy. And it's a rider upon not being eligible for regular general
Okay,
assistance
but
thresholds.
my only question was, have you denied or refused any money for the heating fund?
I have not. We have not. Town
And
has
do you
not.
know the fund balance?
I do not know it.
And you're the welfare director of Fairfield?
Yes, so balances change from quarter to quarter in our accounts. I'm not
Rough.
provided minute-to-minute updates on
What
that.
did we start out with our
Well,
new fiscal
so
year?
that's actually on my agenda for my town report, and it's in my town report, which is online annually, every year. I will be preparing that in the coming weeks. And if you want an immediate response, info@fairfield-me.gov for all of these questions.
Okay, and do we have a warming center in Fairfield?
So we do not, well, so time, so this Fairfield, the Victor Grange has been working on that as a warming center.
Can I say something?
We are working on it. We're working on one.
Victor Grange.
Question real quick?
No, not a second, Peter.
Okay, Victor Grange is working on one. I'm the director of that warming center. Policy has not gone out yet. There's going to be stipulations to that policy for a warming center.
Okay.
So.
And that is a two-story, which,
That wraps it up?
No.
Okay, well then, I'm
well,
sorry.
no, I'm going to take part of his, but
No, you actually
our
used-
warming center here, the 10,000 given to the town Grange, was that for their generator?
That was, yes,
Okay.
that was in the budget and approved by the town.
So I will forward all the questions, and I will put them all on the Facebook, so they know what to expect with all your responses.
That'd be great.
And I hope we get them.
That'd be great.
Can somebody surrender their 3 minutes if they don't plan on speaking?
No. Because it's not a congressional hearing.
Are there any others? Okay. Moving forward.
Anybody else?
Anybody else, Carol?
My name is Steve Sandelier. I live in Fairfield Center. I know some of you, most of you know my late wife, Trina. My adult supervision is now gone. She never let me come to these meetings because she knows I talk a lot. So, directed to you, Mr. Townsend, and the rest of the council, there's been some flattering stuff being said about our current town manager. There's been a lot of unflattering stuff. I hope all this stuff is just taken into account. Again, I don't have my adult supervision. I'm your neighbor. I'm your friend. In some cases, I'm your brother. Reach out to me anytime. I've had correspondences with Mr. Tully here. I think I've had a couple correspondences with you on Facebook also. Look forward to talking more about what I'm willing to do for this town. Something that I'm not leaving anytime soon. All right, thank you.
Thank you. So it looks like we're...
Ronald McClagan, resident of Fairfield. Ronald McClagan,
Ronald.
resident of Fairfield. First time here tonight. Kind of taking a lot in tonight. And I'd like to bring it up to the council here is, and maybe you can enlighten me, why did the fire chief's position not go out to the public for hiring and only in-house? As a firefighter for 30 years just moving to this town, why did it not go out to public? The council, I would like to have an answer.
So, yeah, Michelle was.
I can answer that.
No, she actually, that's the supervision. We provide policy, we approve.
This is a policy, isn't it?
So we provide policy, and I'll let the manager speak.
So at any time, if the municipality has employees that we've employed that have the education that we need to advance in their career, of course that is something that we would do. If not, what would be the reason to stay, right? So why would you be a lifelong firefighter if you had ambitions to be a chief and not ever move up to the rank of chief? So that is common practice. That happens a lot. Folks move up in rank in a lot of our departments. We would hire from in-house.
Okay, so.
But there's no requirement that anything be advertised in the newspaper or anywhere outside.
Really? There isn't?
No. There isn't.
Oh, wait a second. She's speaking, counsel. Sorry. There is no requirement for you to put it out into the public for hiring.
Not if I can fulfill it within house.
Oh, for you to, I thought council oversaw you.
Who runs the town? Council?
Council does.
We provide policy, and then we'll review.
Ma'am, I was in it for 30 years. I know my stuff. If it had been out there for the public, I'd been on the doorstep. You guys could not give, Mr. Townsend, I'll address you now.
Mm-hmm.
And can I ask you just one question? And I know that I'm probably not gonna get an answer, but I understand that a firefighter asked for a $2 an hour raise. Can you verify that for me?
Again, we have to look at our contract with the firefighters union, follow that, and so that's negotiated.
Okay. So I understand through a good friend of mine, the person was asked for a raise and he didn't get it, so now he's in Winslow. But
So you
I
can
will
look at
be
our-
looking into
You can look at our negotiated union contract.
the union contract.
It's a union contract.
So the new chief has a union contract. The new chief here in Fairfield has a union contract.
No.
Oh, wait a second. You just told me.
Talk about the firefighter. That was his contract.
You just told me that it's union.
The firefighter was.
It's a firefighters union. The chief does not belong to the union.
So I don't understand how that works.
So, good question, but we actually, our manager can provide you that information if you don't understand that. And I'd be happy
And
to.
I will be looking into it because I believe that council should have put this fire chief's position out to the public.
Okay.
So
And
no-
for him to hold two positions
Okay.
in towns,
Thank you for your opinion. All right. I'm going to call it. Nope, we are we are closing. I'm looking for.
Wait.
Well, I'm looking.
Is there somebody
if you want to speak.
I just got a couple more.
No. It's public comments.
Sit down, Kelly. Sit down.
Okay. Jen told me to sit down. so-
Jennifer King, High Street in Fairfield.
Thanks, Jen.
So, hi. So, I wasn't going to get up, and this is nothing about any of you guys or what's going on, but 16 Silver Street in Fairfield is driving me crazy. Is it okay for me to say that?
Yeah, by all-
I'm
I
calling
see
it
all
out.
comments.
I'm calling the street out.
Yeah.
We own 13, Marty and I. We have nice people living there all the way around us. We fixed up the place. It looks really nice. We've built a garage, tried the driveway. Then these people moved in next door. They are I know names, and I'm not going to throw their names out.
Thank you.
Rev their trucks, spin out in the dooryard, all the way up and down the road. I've called the police. The neighbors have called the police. I've been to the town last week. Michelle wasn't there. I couldn't speak to her, but I spoke to somebody else. I don't know what we can do. They're revving their engines, honking their horns, swearing, yelling. I've been to the fire department because they have a fire pit out, and the fire pit's full of glass, broken glass, couches, chairs, and the fire chief had told me, fireman had told me, when they light it, we'll go over and check what's in it. So that concerns me as well. There's children living there, there's animals living there. I don't see the lights on sometimes. It's all over Facebook as well. What can we do? The cops, I've called the cops, I've called the cops, I've called the cops.
Yeah, it's a great question, and I appreciate your concern. And I would be if we all have those situations, and we dealt with, like see Tammy in the audience. We dealt with some of the youth in the town last year as well. And so that was a situation that we increased patrols. I don't know.
The police are there when I do call them. They come right over, but it doesn't last long. Right. Then the fireworks go off, and then 12:01 starts a new ordinance in the morning. It's just sickening. I don't live there, but I hear about it and see about it. So, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Carol Ann Bagnulo, or Bagnulo, but for spelling it's Bagnulo. I live on High Street. And I have a question, Mr. Councilman. I want to understand our town council government a little better. So since we do not have a mayor, who in essence is our leader? It is the council. Okay.
Go ahead, Christine, if you want to answer.
So the town of Fairfield is incorporated and filed with the state of Maine and Maine Municipal Association as a town manager, town council form of government in accordance with Maine statute.
Okay, and can that be changed?
If you want to go through a charter. If you go through a charter.
We can, okay. Because I was pointing out to a friend of mine earlier, I personally am a manager. However, I do not call myself a manager. I call myself a leader. And in my mindset as a leader, in the medical field, by the way, a leader doesn't create separation. A leader brings people together. And I'm calling on our councilmen and women to do just that. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. All right.
So my name is Richard Guckin. It's Guckin. So I live on Elm Street. I've lived there for about 3 years. I have a family of 5. I have kids in every single school here. I also follow the stuff that goes on social media. I've talked to a couple of people on the phone here because I'm someone that just likes to gather information. I don't like just to believe the first thing that I read. I'm very naive. I know nothing about this process. I've not been in this community as long as probably anyone else here. However, we need to find the middle ground between, because it seems like there's a huge rift between lots of people and there's a lot of good energy, that happens just on social media and in this room. So I hope to be a part of that, whatever that looks like. I'm going to be here for quite a while. So thanks.
Thank you. I guess I would say keep on coming to meetings.
We got openings on committees.
The openings on committees. Yeah, all those committees you saw at the beginning. It looks like no one else is standing and no one else is online. So I think it's time to move. I want to thank you for all those comments, and you may not have agreed how I ran the show. You may not have agreed with everything I said, but I'm very happy that you made your comments. They are taken, they are heard, and we'll keep on moving, and you have to hold us accountable moving forward, right? So I appreciate that. The biggest thing is, there are people in the room. That's good. So I appreciate that. All right. Thank you so much.
Can I just ask a quick question from the council? On your second order of business, if you read this, I have, sorry, on the third order of business, under the public comments, it actually says the request an opportunity to speak on a specific item on the agenda for later on. And that is actually what Mr. Tully was asking. It's right on under your third order of business.
Just
so you know, I wanted just to correct that.
Thank you. I apologize then. I will state it right here. Misunderstood that you wanted to comment now on that.
No, I
so that
reserve time later.
Reserve.
Understood. And I thank you for that correction. Totally misunderstood.
No,
and I apologize. No, it's not good because I misunderstood. So I apologize, and that would be good. All right. Thank you. Closed. Fourth order of business, the town manager report.
All right, so on November 28th, I attended the PFAS committee meeting, which Chairman Townsend will speak on. November 29th, I attended the Central Maine Growth Council Board of Directors meeting. They still have funds for small businesses that they're administering for the state of Maine, so please go to their website or contact us, and we can help get folks in contact with them. On December 1st, I attended the Maine Town City Managers Joint Leadership Exchange training that they had in Freeport. That day centered around workforce development. So there was a lot of really good things that came out about that. December 5th, Economic Community Development Committee met, which Councilor Thibodeau will speak on. December 12th, there was the Building Committee meeting, which Councilor Lawrence will speak on. And then also just for projects, the 24-25 budget production process is in full swing. We have received word from Delta. They are going to be changing their rate from $15 per capita to $25. So we'll be getting the math on that for you, so you'll be able to see what that impact is going to be. And they do plan on doing some reach out and municipal visits and possibly some group educational meetings as well that we got word on today. So we're still working on that stuff, but more information on that to come. And that's it for me. Everything else is throughout the rest of the agenda.
Thank you. Economic and Community Development.
Yes, well, we met and we had a representative from Anytime Skate talk about his product, which is right here. So this is artificial ice, and I'll bring Matt. Matt has worked very hard with this, and that blue thing, thank you. The blue thing is a toe guard. No, that's wrong too. What's it called, Matt?
Hot guard.
Hot guard. And this is just one example. And so we listened to the presentation by the representative, and afterwards we discussed possibilities for the ice rink. I heard somebody say that it was canned. It's not canned at all. It's on the agenda for approval from the council. The Economic and Community Development Committee recommends that we bring this to the council in favor of a skating rink for our citizens in Fairfield. And this is the process that we do go through. We also have on the agenda, if you haven't noticed, the money that Matt has raised, and that it will be put into a line item for the ice rink. So thank you, Matt. We are getting ready for our business meeting, which will be January 2nd at 3:30 in this room, and discussing, number one, will be the Mill Island redevelopment plan and other areas that need attention. As I have said in years past, for many years, I've been on the Economic Committee for almost 20 years, and it does take a village to make a village and people to be interested in what's going on. And if you are interested, and a couple people tonight said they are, I encourage you to get involved in a committee. It's the job of the Economic and Community Development Committee to advise the council and to be in charge of subgroups so that things can get done in our town. And it's been very hard to get that happening. Prior to COVID, there was an interested group of people willing to put together some harvest days in our town, but then COVID hit and phew, it's gone in the wind. So, and Matt and Sarah, you've done a wonderful job with the gazebo lighting. And I did bring cookies. I brought cookies. So, this is what it takes. This is community development, and it all hinges on economic success for our town. So I really encourage people, if you're interested, put your energies into something where we can be productive and not be at each other's throat. So I'm trying. I have been trying. I will continue to try to do what is best for this town. And I just hope that as things progress after tonight with the ice rink, before too long, we'll have some kids skating and adults. So I'll watch. So.
How do you get on that committee?
Applications.
We do have a position. The Economic Committee is a 7-member committee, and we'll be having a vacancy coming up, I believe. And you can get the application forms online or at the town office.
I actually think there's some in the lobby.
And there might be some in the lobby. Right. So we'll be having one position. But our meetings have always been open to the public. And very rarely do we get any member of the public to come. And I know the timing isn't good, but it's one of those catch-22s. You can't please everybody all the time. And we try to make it, we start at 3:30, hoping that maybe some people don't work until later afternoon. And we try to get done by around 5. I checked today, our agendas are online, and our minutes as well, once approved, go online. So people always think things happen, boom, 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 and they don't. It takes a long time. And part of that is because we do need to follow procedures, and again, our role is as an advisory committee to the council. Thank you.
Stephanie, but we are the people. You can see how quickly the gazebo went up, so we are the people.
Yeah, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yep.
Kelly.
Yep.
Thank you.
Question on your meeting times, can that be changed? Because what if someone does work and they want to be on this committee?
And that has happened before. When we do the business meeting, it's usually brought up, and the consensus is to keep it at 3:30.
It used to be.
It does, and I apologize, but if we can get some subgroups going and other people involved in doing other things, remember, that committee is just the advisory part. If there's a group of citizens that want to take initiative and do things, then by all means, we can create that subgroup of the committee, and then they can meet in the evenings.
So they do their own thing anyway as a group. They don't need to be under a subdivision of you.
Well, basically, they have to have approval for something
People
big.
can just get together and do their thing just like the
They get, Kelly, you do have to ask permission if you're using town-owned property. You have to be aware of ADA rules. In whatever, I don't have to tell you this, but other people may know, need to know. So there are certain things that you have to be careful of when using town-owned property.
Correct, but it's not just a 6-member whatever. It could be the whole town.
You're welcome to attend the meetings. It's a public meeting, and you can come in.
Everybody should get involved whenever.
Yes, yes, thank you, Matt. Yeah.
Do you have anything else from the committee?
No, I do not.
Yeah.
Mill Island coming up to talk about.
Mill
as
Island's
another
on the
item.
agenda, you'll hear more.
I just want to say something about the committee. I'm on that committee too. When I first got on the committee about 5 years ago, it used to be 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
I worked full-time myself at that time, 7 o'clock in the morning. I had to take an hour off each time that meeting. Then they changed it to 3:30 in the afternoon. So I understand about people working and not be able to make it, so.
it's a balancing act all the time. It really is. And my heart goes out to those that would like to join us, but look for other opportunities within the town that you could participate in. And so, okay,
Thank you, Stephanie.
you're welcome.
Peter?
Okay, the building committee met yesterday at 5 o'clock right in the chamber council, in the council chambers. We reviewed 6 of the municipal buildings. And we're right in the middle of reporting on these results. That's what happened yesterday. And our goal is by the second meeting in January to have that results to the council on what we looked at, so. And we rated the buildings from A to F. So it's 6 buildings, and we made our recommendations and things on that. So it's still being worked on. Then January 9th is our another meeting on the building committee to look over those the minutes and the results from the last meeting to have that presented to the council in January.
You don't have to give it all away. But any A's? Any A buildings?
Public Works.
Any F's?
Police station.
I think you just answered my question. How many F's were there?
1.
How many A's?
1.
What was the A?
Public Works.
F?
Police station.
What was the fire department, D?
That's a D.
That should be on.
But anyway, yeah, good. But thank you for, that's awesome. I think you're doing a yeoman's job there. I appreciate that hard work. The Water and PFAS Committee met as well. That was our first meeting. And we had actually the DEP that came in. They are actually really hesitant to come because they thought they were going to be met with pitchforks, but they actually think we're pleasantly surprised as we try to, as a group, which I think you will be very happy with. We are all come from different backgrounds. All of us have different levels of effects on that end. You know, with dealing with PFAS, whether in our own properties and obviously in the town. And so I think there's a lot of different points of view. So I think it's a very constructive committee. And I think it's really important to make sure that PFAS is not forgotten about. It was dealt with initially, and then it's like, then it becomes this issue that's kind of this out there and nebulous. So I think it's really important as a committee that we formed this year to initially do fact finding. So we met with the DEP. We're going to meet with the Department of Agriculture and the CDC. There were some great questions as to how they did testing. Some of that also, unfortunately, is about money and what's left. Right now, we're looking at a situation where we want to have additional testing. We want to have additional filtration and remedies that way. But our money is not infinite coming from the state. And whether we'll be able to work on that, I don't know. But one of the things they talked about, which happened to be in the paper today, was that Unity is now a hot spot. So with 30 wells in their downtown area being at the higher level. So those properties are being looking for filtration. So that's going to take back from what might be available for us and what might be available to go long-term for PFAS filtration. So it's a difficult issue, but I think it's really important right now that we are acting as a town and as a council, that this issue is not forgotten about, that's not left up to other organizations, the state, the federal government. We want to make sure we push it and try to get as much as we can. One of our focuses, obviously, would be additional testing, additional water filtration, and how to deal with a lot of the problems coming up. But I think the first thing we thought was actually acting as a fact-finding group so that we're all on the same page as a group about what knowledge is out there and why we do things. So, again, the Department of Agriculture, Environmental Protection was first, Department of Agriculture is next, and then after that, the CDC, and then we'll continue to move forward. That's for me. So, moving along, they have the fifth order of business, the consent agenda. These items are considered routine and standard business, and therefore will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests prior to consideration of this portion of the agenda, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered next on the agenda. So they are item 23-147, order that the Fairfield Town Council hereby waives the reading of and accepts the minutes for meeting number 2023-8-18 held on November 15th, 2023. And item 23-148, order that the Town Council hereby approves the Treasurer's warrant number 86, general fund in the amount of $578,277.36. Not limited to, but including MSAD 49, motor vehicles, Humane Society, KSTD.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor? Passes unanimously. The sixth order of business, take action on the following items of business as read by the council chair. Item 23-149, order that the town council hereby approves a special amusement permit for the purposes of entertainment, music, and dancing submitted by the VFW Post 6924 located at 246 Main Street, Fairfield.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
I was just asked to provide clarification that the special amusement permit so music and dancing is regulated, and this is associated, this particular permit is set in statute and associated with their liquor license, which is why it's different from businesses that do not have a liquor license.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think we've had, item 23-150 was withdrawn.
You didn't
We're
vote.
moving.
You didn't vote.
We got to
Oh, sorry. My bad. We jumped ahead. Motion to second. All those in favor? Item 23-151, order that the town council hereby authorizes the town clerk to issue a blanket letter of approval to the Fairfield VFW Memorial Post 6924 located at 246 Main Street to operate bingo, Beano, games of chance, and cribbage for the period January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. Item 23-152, order the town council hereby authorizes the town clerk to issue a blanket letter of approval to the Grover Hinckley American Legion Post 14 located at 86 Main Street to operate bingo, Beano, games of chance, and cribbage for the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor? Ordered by the town council hereby accepts Fairfield Mill Island Park redevelopment plan as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion.
All right.
Councilor Thibodeau.
We have here Garvin Donegan and Sabrina Gendro from the Central Maine Growth Council. I would personally like to thank them for creating an impressive document and working with us over the last 3 years on this project. As you saw on your emails, the completed draft, final draft, was sent to all the councilors. It's an impressive document, and it details the work ahead for the town for many years to make Mill Island Park a destination for people to come and visit. And where it's so close to the downtown area, it would be a draw for the businesses as well. Garvin, would you like to add any information about the redevelopment plan?
Yeah, thank you, Councilor. And Garvin Donegan, Central Maine Growth Council. Good to be with you, Council Chair, Councilors, Christine, Michelle, and members of the public and people watching at home. I think you really echoed it nicely. So ultimately, this process, feel most proud to be able to stand up here and say that the plan significantly evolved and changed over time, number one. And that really feeds into number two, the amount of time and effort that was put into community input and public engagement was not a checkbox that was just trying to be checked. There was multiple, over 23 public meetings, conducted community-wide surveys. Thank you to those of you that filled that out. Actually, one of the largest respondents rates of a survey in this region that we've ever seen. That really is something similar to a comprehensive plan for those of you that have been involved in that. So thank you on the public input side, on those planning charrettes, those site walks, early morning to late evenings. And then lastly, as I think the councilor references,
The plan, in many ways, is a blueprint, and it inventories some of the amenities, the historical history that is so rich in our economy there from that mill and manufacturing lens, but also provides some goals and some perspectives on the future. Some of those, I think, are pretty practical, like extending and creating a looping trail, but others are intentionally broad to capture opportunities with federal and state grants down the road, such as promote legal public access to water bodies, create connectivity from the downtown to the park, and ultimately challenges us to think about this uniquely urban park and what it can do for the downtown. So with all that said, maybe lastly, thank you to the amazing committee, which are volunteers, the council liaisons, Michelle, Sabrina as well here, and KV Cog as well on some of the mapping. Likewise, one of the recommendations is adaptive management to think about this. So in conclusion, there was a lot of robust conversation, a good conversation, not all agreement, on prioritization of the project, safety, lighting, access, the nature of the river, but ultimately an extremely positive, thoughtful process throughout the entire time. So that's really wonderful. So with that, happy to
Okay.
answer any questions.
Thank you. I do want to mention that the walking bridge is part of the plan, and also a dog park. And it's up to the citizens to see that through.
Also, too, number 2, we went to that course down the garden there.
Right, the
downtown
garden.
development.
Yeah.
Also, too, that walking bridge is part of a DOT grant, so we can vandalize the downtown, Mill Island, and walking bridge in one instance.
Right, but again, it's going to be through a capital campaign. Work on the island will be done in phases, and the most important thing is we're going to need citizen involvement to see this through. So, did you have a question?
I guess what
You need to come up to the mic, please.
I guess the walking bridge, what is it, what's different about it now versus before where it didn't happen?
Money.
Money. And
So,
there was a
that-
concern also for safety and security. So we're bringing it back to the table, and hopefully it will be.
Was there any DEP or EPA issues about doing it on that end of it prior? or
We didn't
no?
even get that far.
But we
because
tore down
the
2
the
houses
council-
before that.
The council at that time said no.
Was there 2 houses there that was torn down?
We don't know where the walking bridge will be at this point. Remember.
No, my question was there 2 houses torn down?
Torn down?
Torn down.
Torn down.
Where
was
the walking
one.
bridge is going to be?
I-
Well,
I
there was a
can't
little
remember.
store and there was
We
a gray
found
apartment
3,
building.
we found actually 3 places where
There's-
foundations.
Right, there
over
were
the
3
bridge was.
walking bridges back in the day. So,
Okay, I mean, all right, I'll ask it again. Was there any houses that we tore down that people were living in when this whole thing came about?
no,
That gray apartment building didn't have anybody living in it?
it didn't have anything to do with the walking bridge.
So those weren't torn down for any of the walking bridge?
I don't know
no?
why they were torn down, so
Who owns that property now?
I'd have to look, I don't know that.
Do you know who owns that property?
The town owns that property.
The town owns.
I believe those buildings were condemned.
They were,
I think they were
That's kinda
condemned.
where I
That
was
was prior to
going.
me, that's.
Yeah.
So that was,
Yeah.
I don't know.
but it
was that-
didn't
had
have
nothing to do
anything
with
to
that.
Okay, I
do
was
with the
just wanted to see
walking
if they were
bridge.
condemned, they were trashed.
Yeah, no.
Right, thanks.
No.
If we wanted to get involved, how would we do that? And what's the time commitment?
The Economic and Community Development Committee meets once a month, usually the first Tuesday of the month at 3:30. We try to get done at 5. The business meeting will probably be a longer meeting, which is January 2nd. People who fill out the applications will be voted on in the first January meeting, which is the council's voting, business meeting. So if you're interested and you fill out an application, I would recommend, if you can, come to that 3:30 meeting. Remember that we have 7, it's a committee of 7, but the public's invited and you have a say. It's just that when it comes time for a vote, it's those 7 that can vote.
Yeah, so I can tell you right now, I'm not going to be able to attend that meeting. Bills, things are expensive,
Yeah.
and I have to work. I can't take that time off.
Yeah.
Is there
So-
anything else that can be done outside of attending that 3:30 meeting? And also, for
Once-
anyone that can attend,
Yeah.
where is that meeting held?
Once we get going with the redevelopment plan, if it's approved tonight, one of the big discussion points at the business meeting will be the next steps for the redevelopment of Mill Island Park. I'll know more then, and I'll feel better about speaking about that. But I know that we are going to need, it's been my dream to have a Friends of Mill Island Park group that could help implement different strategies that have come through on the plan. So, your name is?
Yeah, Cody Duncan.
Cody Duncan.
Yes, and I'd love to help, but again, like,
And
as multiple
the
people
other
have said,
thing is-
just the timing is.
I know,
so
that's
bad.
hard. All I can say is check in, I see your hand, Michelle. Check in with our minutes, and keep, you can always email me through the town website.
Your ideas, yeah.
And so that we can stay involved, and communication is important, I realize that. Sure. Michelle?
So, and as Councilor Thibodeau had mentioned, it would involve a capital campaign, which sometimes people just think money. Well, sometimes it's not. Capital investment can also be people's time and energy. So the committee has talked about whether or not there's projects, can they be done on a smaller level that actually are just volunteer pieces. So they're a one-off, right? Like, come on a Saturday afternoon, we're going to plant flowers or that kind of stuff. So those would be the kind of things that if they do those sort of projects, they'd be advertised, and it would be a one-time kind of thing. Come spend some time with us and volunteer your time. Look for those in the future. These are things that they can't even get to that point until the council says, yes, we're okay with this plan, go forward, see what you can do to make some of these projects happen.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome,
Thanks.
Cody.
Just a quick question to the council. Mr. Tully was just saying something about some houses over there that were torn down that the town now owns. So can you explain this a little bit more to me? She said that they were condemned. Did the town take them by eminent domain after after condemning it, or what?
So we can look back through the records and the minutes. That's way before.
I will let you know where the parking lot is to the River Jack, and then you have the house on that further end of the parking lot.
So it was torn down?
No, there's an apartment house that's still there. Is that the Taylor house?
Yeah.
The Taylor house.
Used to be a Bisbee.
The town has owned since the 1800s, a very narrow strip of land. I can't remember how wide it is. And that was the land that was for one of those walking bridges.
No, I'm just kind of curious, because she said that this house was condemned and now the town owned it, so I was just kind of
No,
curious.
the house has been torn down.
You're right.
Right, so, and I can't remember when that happened, and it's been a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like 20 years ago or something.
It's got to be something like that, yeah. Okay.
So I guess I will say something quick, like, I think it's a real keystone to the development of downtown Fairfield.
Right.
There are not many places in this state that have that kind of island property near a downtown.
Yeah.
And so I think it's actually the start of development for downtown, and can be recreation and business and a lot of other services. So I think it's something that we should look at as a real positive for our town. I want to thank Stephanie and her committee. I serve as ad hoc. I can't get there all the time, and we can't have 3 council members on that committee.
Nope.
But I've seen the actions, and I think Stephanie has done an incredible job. Peter's always there. And we really, they've really put together a good plan. I think just because they're in the room, I think, again, Garvin and Sabrina have been tremendous in moving this along and keeping us organized and understanding the procedure. And without their help, this could not have happened. But even more so, when it became time, there were several town meetings where we actually had people coming in and looking at the plans and giving us more suggestions. So it has been a dynamic process that has had the involvement of many people in this town, and I start seeing the growth for this town and the civic engagement as a result of this project. So I think I am really looking forward to this, taking one step at a time, but this is that first step. And like Stephanie, we want to see this come to fruition. You've done an incredible, it's been a long time, but it's an incredible job, so thank you.
Yeah. We will be printing up the official document if it's approved tonight. And there will be, I'm going to ask that one copy go into the library so people can take a look at it. And we'll have one on the table at the town office. I don't know how many will be printed.
And I assume there'll be a link to it.
Yes, and there'll be a link online as well. I'll tell you, when I read it, I had a mix of emotions because it's been a commitment for quite a while, starting in the 1980s with a group of people. And to see it come to this point, it's amazing. And I hope that we as citizens can see this project through.
Yeah, I was on it originally. You said that's going to be sent to the library?
Once we have the printed the redevelopment plan for Mill Island Park, it's 81 pages long.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to have a copy or two at the library.
Describe like where the walkway is going to be, all of that good stuff?
Not exactly. Some of that has to be decided by committee, and where it's going to go.
Big stuff, right, will be?
It's interesting. There's a 10-point plan in this document, and it outlines what needs to be done in the different sections of Mill Island. We had divided it up into 6 different parts, and each part has its own needs and visions that could be accomplished. So once you've read it, you'll be able to, and you can ask me questions.
No?
What's that?
Can it be amended at any point after this?
Not after that, no.
Okay, so is there any part of this park that has a fence around it? Because you mentioned something earlier that really, and you.
He needs to go to the podium.
Is there any fence that?
They can't hear you. You need to go to the podium if you're going to speak.
That's my fault. I should have asked you.
Oh, I forgot.
So is there any fence that encompasses the island at all from kids going into the water and stuff like that? Because you mentioned the Peggy Taylor house, and you know who she is, right?
The Taylor house, right.
You know what happened to her?
No, I don't.
Crystal Mosier and Peggy Taylor, they both drowned right on that point.
Yeah. I don't know, Matt.
And I'm just concerned that something else will happen like that.
You know, there's always that risk anyways, and outside of vegetation, the only fence perimeter was the vegetation.
Yep.
And again, it's, once you've read the document,
Yeah.
and there's still a lot that has to be
That can be,
planned out. It's just the 10 steps that we need to follow.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Right.
Awesome. That's just.
there's nothing's been added yet.
I understand your concern.
Yeah, you
It's
mentioned
what-
that, and I was like, holy moly, yeah, that happened.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Any more discussion?
Also, too, we're going to make that handicap accessible, too. in
Right,
some areas.
it's not ADA right now, and that's the big thing, to make the trails ADA.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, ready to move the question?
Yeah.
You have a motion. You have a motion and a
Yeah,
second.
I know, yeah, motion, motion to second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Thank you.
Thank you, Garvin. Thank you, Sabrina.
Definitely.
It's a go.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Steph.
Thank you.
It's been hard work. It's the first step.
One step right there.
Item 23-154, order the town council hereby considers the installation of a community ice skating rink.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, and discussion. So part of this, I think, we should talk about the presentation to the economic development and maybe your recommendations.
Right. Thanks to the efforts of Mr. Tully, and it really did happen quite quickly when you think about when you first started talking about an ice rink.
Yeah, I mean,
And the legwork that you did. There seems to be a lot of interest for an ice rink. We've talked about what kind of artificial ice. I didn't know what artificial ice is. I'm still not sure. But it's some kind of polymer, synthetic ice, and it does wear down over time. There's different kinds. That sample that we have there is a one-sided artificial ice. And the representative told us, because it's like your mattress, you know what happens if you flip your mattress, you still have a dent eventually. The same thing works on the artificial ice if you're flipping it. So there's a single, and then there's the double that you can flip over. And just so that you know, there has been talk about the possibility of the Alphond Youth Community Center selling one that they have, and that has fences, or they're not called fences,
Boards.
right? Boards that go all the way up around the perimeter of it. The basketball court out here measures 48 by 96, and I believe the ice, we can get artificial ice to measure anything, according to the representative that spoke on the Zoom. And then the rink that the Alphond Community Center has would fit out there on the basketball court. But that is still to be determined, and that's because there are two boards involved, the Alphond Youth Center board and then the Youth Hockey League board. So that's still amorphous right now. Well, I'm not sure where that is, but we can't do anything until the council does approve the fact that let's give it a try.
With that one on the Alphond Arena, it has a netting to it, and it places the area to, Matt, you have to...
Matt, can you explain that,
Yes.
please?
Yeah, it's a full back net system for, stray pucks or anything like that to stop. The total system, it's got boards, weighted boards that, can be ballasted out to keep them from moving. It's about an $80,000 rink, and it was offered to Town of Fairfield for $30,000. It's got, it's all marked out for ice rinks. The ones that's not. That's a $30,000 ice rink, and that's what you get exactly right there, but the same size. You don't get any boards, you don't get any net backing, you don't get any nets, any of that.
Right, and there was also the 100 pairs of skates.
Well, as
they
we
had
didn't,
offered.
I didn't get to finish that meeting. I didn't know where it was left, so I think you gave a directive to Michelle to find out where that was.
Right, and that's again, like I said, it's amorphous right now. It's to be determined until the council actually votes on the possibility of an ice rink. We really can't move forward with that until we have that step in process.
So has anyone contacted the boards or anything in the interim of our last meeting?
I have no idea. No one's been able to. Michelle's been ill for since last week, too. But again, the whole point is the council has to approve the ice rink idea, and then we move on. That's the way it works. It really, I know it grits you.
Yeah. I brought a question on that ice rink, since it doesn't have boards or anything like that, possibility of young kids being roughhouse, hitting that puck thing and hurting an ankle.
That's
Liability right
a
there.
strong possibility, but it's got a breakaway of 1.5 pounds. So, I mean, if you bump
Just
into
worry
it,
about skating over it and...
it will fly. So
Yeah.
it's pretty decent.
In years past, I think you should know that Public Works maintained the land on the old ice rink. They didn't do the ice itself.
No,
There was
you're
the
correct,
Zamboni. I remember Larry Pamfrey went down
What was that
there.
again?
Zamboni?
Zamboni.
Oh, Zamboni.
That's close.
Well, anyways.
I just had to hear it again.
So anyways, when that ice rink was there, Public Works maintained the land that it was on.
Yep.
So we'll need to have that committee, the people that are involved in wanting to see this at some point come together, and in May, we'll discuss how everything went. And
Okay, so can we get at least a timeline of something to say, we have 2 weeks from today to get in touch with somebody.
After this meeting, hopefully by the end of the week, Michelle, could you contact Patrick Garat?
we need to move the point, and hopefully we're positive, and then we can also
Right.
address, because I think we should, I think you're spot on, I think we need to address that timeline and be a timely timeline.
So when the town council, when the chairman, Councilor Townsend and Councilor Thibodeau went to the Boys and Girls Club with Mr. Tully and myself to look at the rink that the Boys and Girls Club had, it was mentioned about the fact that there was a possibility that we could get the ice rink on loan at no cost with an MOU for liability insurance and all of those various different pieces. I have received an email from the COO of the Boys and Girls Club just thanking me for that meeting and letting me know that they were there to continue the discussion. I did thank them very much for the visit and for allowing us to come see that. And that the process of going to the Economic Community Development Committee with this proposal that Mr. Tully had, and then, of course, coming here to the town council for whether or not the council wanted to proceed with the ice rink, and that we would be in touch as soon as that was over. So that's where we're at with that.
Can I ask when that email was sent?
Michelle, can you tell us when that email was sent?
Sure, December 1st.
So now we have our council. So,
I mean, we're going right down the path as refrigerator. I mean, the stove.
let's deal with what we know.
I mean, what's today's date, Matt?
It's now the 13th. So now we're having our committee, now we have our council meeting, which was it is the procedure, right? So if we decided to turn this down tonight, it's kind of null and void, right? So let's have that discussion. I think I can tell you how I feel, but we have, so we haven't had a motion.
Do any of the councilors have any questions on it?
Because I know you and I, we discussed that detail with the people who attended the meeting there. So I'm all for this ice rink for the community and the kids.
Right. So I have a question for Michelle on this end. If we do not get, so in the discussion with AYCC and Central Maine Youth Hockey, they decide not to do a loan, but they want to have us purchase it. What does that look like? Can we do a special meeting? Do we need to, so we can keep this moving down the tracks? And
I don't have any numbers from them in writing. It was suggested that it was for $30,000. The council would then have to vote to spend funds in order to acquire it, right? So, and you don't have currently $30,000.
Should.
It's pretty close.
We're close. So there's currently in the ice rink account $18,980.11. And then you have the $11,000 that has come in donations.
11,100.
So I think we should be, yep.
11,000.
What's the total on that now?
Just 30.
Yeah.
It'd be about 29,100.
18.
However, no?
No, 18.9 and then
18 and 11 is
We're
$29.
$20 short, I think.
And then 18.9 and 11 should be
$13.78. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, why is December 1st until now, nothing has been done? When you gave her a directive, I was here, and you told her, let's move this forward, right?
The town council has not even met to discuss
No,
this.
We were talking about that, remember? About the
Okay,
ice
let me
skates
go
and all
over,
that?
I'm going to go over the process with you, Matt. It had to come from the Economic and Community Development Committee first.
Yep.
We met on December 5th.
Yes.
Today is the 13th for the council meeting to go over the recommendation and to
Exactly.
vote on it.
I'm talking about the economic meeting, not you guys here. When you were in the economic meeting, you said, what about the ice skates? And you said, could you check on that? Could you also check on what we needed to do to move this forward? And it's been...
Well, to move this forward hinges on what happens tonight.
Right. Okay, so I'll ask the question after you vote.
Well, and I'll tell you, it will all come into play. We have to be
I just don't want to
patient.
lose this deal by lack of...
No, and I understand that, and I don't think you will. When you're dealing with multiple agencies, the town of Fairfield, the Alphon Youth Center, and everybody is working to the best of their ability. It's a busy day. Sometimes you can't get to it. But you also have to remember, Alphon had 2 boards that he had to talk to.
I heard it was one, but
Well, he had his Alphon board and then the Youth Hockey League board.
yeah, they already
And he
approved it
needed to
anyway.
talk with them too when we had left that meeting.
Youth hockey already proved it, and now they're going through the Alphon Center part of it.
See, I don't
That's what they
know
were
about
talking about, but they needed to.
But we have to be patient, and it will all, believe me, it will all come out to play. We just have to be patient. Please come to the table,
Yep.
podium. And state your name.
My name is Rick Harris, resident of Fairfield. My couple questions for Matt and the town council is, who's going to maintain this? Who's going to put it together every year? Who's going to take it down? Where's it going to be stored? And is there going to be any expense to the taxpayers? And if so, are the taxpayers going to be able to vote on it?
All great questions, and those are actually things that we have been talking about if this was approved. So there's been a lot of discussion of having a group that wants to be say, let's call it the Friends of the Fairfield Ice Rink. So a lot of people talk about volunteering for that. Will they follow through? And there's that discussion about storage. Well, we have some time on storage because we're in the middle of winter, so we have some time to think about that. And the spacing is not too bad, but you're spot on. And this, I think, one of the things we want to talk about is, I'll speak for myself. When I look at that ability to potentially have it loaned to us for $0 and see if it works and see if we have good participation and see if we have good volunteerism to help with maintenance, then I think the option to purchase is tremendous. If we spend $30,000 of tax dollars or $19,000 of tax dollars and then it doesn't work out well, then we're stuck with.
It's not tax dollars.
$19,000 of town money it is town money. It fits in our budget. So I still am a steward of that, and I'm trying to look to spend money wisely, right? So if it ends up being a project that does not work well, and we're stuck with a rink that nobody wants, which I don't think is the case, but then we really have to look as a council to spend money wisely. Try to. People may disagree with us. That maybe they don't think we spend it wisely, but we try to. And so your points are well taken, and all the ones that I think are echoed by everybody involved here, actually. And I think Matt would agree on that end that's we all think like you build it, they will come. I think that's the case, but I don't know.
Because of the motion at the Economic Community Development Committee was 6 months to option to buy. That puts us to May timeframe to actually purchase it.
Yeah.
Because I made the motion, it was seconded and approved at the meeting. Now it's just coming to the council to approve this. So that's what happened at that meeting.
Okay. Right, thank you.
Or we can do what we did 40 years ago and just build one down at Valley Farms and
if we
roll it up, and never got the town involved at all. It was just all volunteers. We did the whole thing.
Well, you don't have the amount of volunteers today that you do 40 years ago.
Absolutely not.
And we don't have the same weather.
So it's one of my concerns. Thank you.
Yeah, you're spot on. I appreciate it. Totally. But I think it'll work.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't show up and clean it off. It's going to be 2 of us doing.
Well, that's something that's going to have to be thought through,
Yeah, so.
That's why if you have a committee of a bunch of people that's dedicated enough.
So any more discussion?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
So at this point,
We need a vote on
yeah,
that.
so it considers the installation. So we're going, yes. If you're voting yes for this, you're going to
It's an
consider-
open-ended
very
motion for
open-ended.
you, so it would probably entertain a friendly
Yes.
amendment
So if
as
you-
to what it is you want to do for
Yes.
direction.
So I look forward to that. If either one of, I mean, I'll.
So I've got a motion
Peter, if
by
you wanna look at what-
Councilor Lawrence, seconded by Bacciati.
Do you want to
Right,
amend
but do you
your
want to amend
motion?
that to what we used at the economic development?
Yes, yes.
Could you
Amend that,
read that to me?
6 months, the option to buy after 6 months.
So we enter into an agreement.
So would you like me to read it to you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember.
Motion to create a
MOU.
lease to own with the Alphon Youth and Community Center for the existing temporary ice rink owned by AYCC, which will include an MOU with the first right of refusal for purchase on the rink by the town of Fairfield after a period of 6 months, being the winter season, pending approval from donors of more to move forward with the proposed MOU. Right, because you had donors, which you will address next on the agenda,
Right.
that donated funds for the purchase of a rink. So if you choose to go with an MOU in which you don't actually purchase the rink up front,
Right.
we would have to contact the donors, right, and make sure that that's still in keeping with their wishes and whether or not they want those funds back or they want them held in the ice rink account that we have here for the future purchase.
Right. And I'll second that.
What You've got, for the friendly amendment, we've got
friendly
Peter
amendment, sorry,
Lawrence's
John.
motion, and John Paciotti was the second.
Okay, you go for it, John.
Okay, I'll second it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more discussion?
No.
I think it's a great program. Let's,
Yep.
I'm in favor.
I'm in favor.
It's unanimous, thank you.
Welcome.
Item 23-155, order the town council hereby considers acceptance of donations to be applied to Fairfield's capital project account, ice rink, as follows.
So move.
Sorry. I'm trying to hurry. I know you, I'm trying to hurry. $1,100 received from Fairfield VFW Post 6924 on 11/27/2023. Thank you. $5,000 received from Hutamaki on 12/1/2023. Thank you. And $5,000 received from Sappi North America, 12/4/23.
So move.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? I think it's just what we talked about, the held in account and depending on what, how.
Just remember too, these are donations too. On the lease, on that land that the ice rink used to be on, it's being, we're receiving rental money on it.
Yeah.
So half the agreement is half the money will go to the ice rink fund. That's
Yep.
where the rest of the money is coming from.
Yep.
So-
Rental money.
That rental money. So concerns of money coming from taxpayers' money, none. Just for insurance.
Yep.
Talking about the insurance, which is $100.
Yep.
Okay.
Excellent. So motion and a second? All those in favor? Thank you.
Now the wheels get going.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt, for all your hard work.
Starts the process. Maybe different ways to get there, but it starts the
I will
process.
say, Matt, he worked just as hard as I had.
I did not.
on that.
I did not, but
We had a lot of phone calls, beat each other up on a lot of things,
Sure.
and it got done.
yeah, I did
Now
not.
we can just get that volunteer group going with the
Yeah.
process now,
And he
and
can be the chairman of that group, too.
It's all about the kids. So I appreciate
Why don't we
it.
get some kids involved?
That would be
I think,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I totally
That would
agree.
be great.
And I think getting school involvement and part of the even maintenance would be awesome. Totally agree, Tammy.
yeah, for the kids, yes.
So the seventh order of business, we're working along. Council workshop and other business. So number one is to discuss the land use ordinance comprehensive statutory updates submitted by the planning board and KB cog on accessory dwelling units and cannabis planning board presentation to the council.
So Max Kinney is on Zoom as the planning board's rep to go over with you some of the things of what's going on and what has induced all of this.
Would you like me to read, do I need to read any of this for the folks at home or?
So we can just give a general overview. It's a lot of stuff.
Right.
I'm not
Yeah.
exactly sure. Mine has some cheat notes in it, so I'm not exactly sure what your agenda says. But
Yeah.
I'm happy to review as well.
Everybody leaving, thank you.
Thank you.
First, Max,
we need-
I watched some of the, well,
No. Go ahead.
like we're just trying to. It's
Oh.
gotten a little noisy in here. That's all.
That's all. I watched some of the meetings on the land use ordinance. I'd like to thank you and the committee as well as KV cog This is a thorough, very thorough, for the most part, I read it. Some parts I kind of skimmed over, I'll admit it. But very, very thorough update of the land use ordinance.
Yep.
I think it was long overdue. I appreciate the fact that we also have new language in there concerning the little house thing on the same lot. I'm not really sure how to say it.
Accessory dwelling units.
Thank you, accessory dwelling unit. And you guys did a lot of work, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Our land use ordinance actually had a complete rewrite in 2016.
Well, it looks
So
like
it's
it's a
been
big
that long.
rewrite. Yeah.
And everything changes, right? Every legislative session, other things change. So LD 2003 does deal with accessory dwelling units, as well as the fact that how we handle adult use cannabis businesses is in our land use ordinance, and you can no longer refer to it as marijuana. So
Right.
that word had to be changed everywhere throughout the document. But let's let Matt give you some more information on how that works.
Okay, go ahead, Max.
All right, thank you. Myself and the other members of the Town of Fairfield Planning Board are pleased to present tonight the recommended changes for the Town Council's, or for the Town of Fairfield's land use ordinance, excuse me. We've worked very hard over the past several months with the town's code enforcement officer and the Kennebec Valley Council of Governments to update the document to meet the new laws and regulations, as well as the changing environment in Fairfield. Some people may be familiar with LD 2003 that was signed into law in 2022 by Governor Mills. It received a fair amount of press during the process of moving through the legislature. This law is geared towards increasing housing opportunities across Maine, and a new rule mandating all references to marijuana be changed to cannabis, as Michelle mentioned, were the two driving factors for updating this ordinance. LD 2003, for those who are unfamiliar, allows for up to 2 accessory dwelling units, both attached and detached, to be built on an existing lot where single-family residential development is allowed. The town has the ability to and has proposed in the amended land use ordinance that all dimensional and setback requirements for the particular land use district be met per the land use ordinance. Only 1 accessory dwelling unit of the 2 that are allowed will be exempt from any density requirements for the particular land use district that the parcel is located. The town has also proposed to require that any accessory dwelling unit be a minimum of 190 square feet, which is designated in the law, and shall not exceed the square footage or number of floors of the original primary dwelling unit. Any proposed accessory dwelling unit will require a building permit and a certificate of occupancy, just as any other residential structure would that was developed in the town. There are also provisions in LD 2003 that require towns to allow vacant lots where housing is allowed to be more densely developed, up to 4 residential units if the lot is located within a designated growth area as outlined in the town's comprehensive plan. If 3 or more dwelling units are developed within a 5-year period on a subject parcel, that parcel would be subject then to subdivision rules per the subdivision ordinance. All rules pertaining to LD 2003 have been incorporated into the proposed updates to the land use ordinance and will go into effect on January 1st of 2024. That's why it's very important that the council move to approve these updates that the planning board has put forward for the land use ordinance. Fairfield is actually lucky that we started the process of updating the ordinance early, as many of our neighboring towns are just now getting started on their updates and likely won't be in compliance by the time that the law actually takes effect. These changes and many other small changes are outlined in the red line document provided, and I'm happy to do my best to answer any questions that the council may have on the changes. And if I can't answer those now, then the planning board would be happy to follow up later this week with answers.
So we received changes just this afternoon, actually, pending, it came out of a training that was just recently offered at Maine Municipal Association that prompted a question that prompted them to have an attorney send out a change. There used to be, you could have a requirement that in order to have a cannabis business, you had to be a Maine state resident. That was within our policy. That actually has to be removed. There's case law on that that says that that is not legal. We're not allowed to have that. So this is, some of these things are coming up just just immediately, but because folks are working on these ordinances and these pieces. As a municipality, excuse me, we still kind of have some general concerns, and we've been reaching out. Public Works has been talking to the water district and the sewer district, because of course you have to be able to state that you have access to water and sewer. It doesn't necessarily mean that the capacity is there, so we want to make sure that that can happen with these build-outs in this densely population. So those kind of things are going on. As Max alluded to, Kennebec Valley KVCOG, Kennebec Valley Council of Governments, has worked with us. We had a contract with them. With this legislation of LD 2003 that came forward, there was $10,000 made available to every municipality within the state to work through this process. So we did contract with KVCOG at a member rate. It is half the rate of some of these other municipalities that are contracting them for this same process. Everything we believe here is done, such that it would be ready for a public hearing and for an official vote at your next council meeting, so at the end of the month. That does get us in line to have this completed by the deadline date. However, our ordinance already existingly has a provision within it that we must follow state law irregardless of what the ordinance says. And so LD 2003 does trump our ordinance, period, and we're aware of that. So they've done a tremendous job and an extreme amount of work for this, and it's really good. They had a great process, and it is one of the things too that KVCOG keeps touting at every time we have a board of directors meeting, because we are the first municipality that they sat down and did this with. Because of this process, so we have helped them with setting the bar for the rest of the towns that they've been going to. So it's been a great process all the way around.
So, Michelle, the $100,000 that has been funded in the budget from the state for the local cost, is that helping to pay for KVCOG services?
Yes. So the $10,000 that we received, the way the state did it is that you had to put in the request for the funds. So we just requested the flat $10,000. Then we have to report to them, and I can't remember what the deadline is. I think it's sometime in April. Exactly what we spent those funds on, and then any amount of those funds that are not used has to just be returned to the state. The contract with KVCOG, I believe, was around $7,500, and then leaving us enough funds for public hearing, advertising costs, printing of the new ordinance, because it is a very substantial document, so that we can have multiple copies of that still available for hard copies, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And any potential legal review. Nothing has come up yet at this point that requires any legal review that I'm aware of anyway, not that the planning board has mentioned. I think most of the stuff we've been able to get taken care of through regular state organizations and questions.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion?
I'm done.
Thoughts, comments? Next steps for us?
So we'll move it on to the public hearing phase, and that'll come back to you and according to that schedule.
Very good.
Okay,
Sounds good.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, council.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks, Max.
Number 2, to discuss public safety ordinance, Article 1, parking, Section 10, parking update request for the downtown.
So we received a letter from the owner of Sunny's requesting. This came up quite a few years ago, which is the information that you did receive within your packets about the parking on Main Street.
Right.
However, they have requested that 4 parking spaces nearest to the front entrance of Sunny's be marked at 30-minute parking. It is becoming increasingly difficult for our customers to park and pick up their orders during the afternoon and evening, as cars are parked there for longer duration. So, because this was addressed by a sitting council not that many years ago, we still have put the request before you and everything that you've done before, and whatever you would like us to do with it is at your pleasure.
Because I'm going to say right now, the parking is horrendous when I actually go to Sunny's to pick up my order. I got to park at the post office or the vacant lot where Irvin's used to be and walk.
Would it be possible then to take the 3 places in front of Sunny's, do the 30-minute thing, and take the 2 or 3 that we have across the street and just change them to regular parking.
Right. Anything that you choose to do is possible.
Because across the street, we don't need the double, the double shot off.
I was thinking that as well.
Yeah.
And also, the signs in front, there should be signage for those 3 parking spaces in front of Sunny's saying,
Limited to 30.
30-minute
15,
parking
whatever it
for
is, yeah.
Sonny's Pizza,
so
whatever.
You can't limit it to,
Would
can't limit it to the.
No, you can't limit it to just.
You can't say, you
No,
gotta say 30 minutes.
Say 30 minutes.
So, I tell you what, we can, if it is your pleasure to potentially look at switching it from one side of the street to
the other side, yeah.
we can get this back to Public Works and the Police Department and get their review and put forth a potential amendment to the parking ordinance.
That'd be great. I'd like to, I
To
think.
incorporate that, and that will give them an opportunity to make sure we weigh all of the possible options for that.
And I think it'd be nice to make sure we move this as timely as possible, again, for Sunny's, it's a long time business downtown.
Back to your next meeting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay.
Can you speak on this at all?
No.
You have, so you can ask me a question and.
Yeah,
you can see-
so, I mean, how many?
So how many parking spots? 4? 4.
Yep.
So we have 9 there, right? Until you get to the Meridian straight shot of the handicap, right? So that's almost 50% of the parking that's going to be dedicated to one 30-minute zone, right? No? So if Meridian's comes up and says, we want the same thing.
So again, but it's not there, so that's why we're looking at the ordinance change, and we haven't changed it, so.
No, that's my concern.
Right, no, I think that's,
Right.
those would be the concerns. I think we want to make sure that a business that is affected by short-term parking, making sure that they have that availability of short-term parking.
Yep. And I know there's a lot of parking out back too, so.
But that's, again, I think that's one of those issues, that's why we want to look at it, because that's, if you're trying to make a quick pickup, run out back.
I'm just concerned about Beatty's too. Beatty's has
Right.
got parking there too.
Right.
And just in case they're
Well, and
customers too, so.
There's also businesses upstairs in the Masons building, right? So there's the tattoo
Right.
parlor, and then there's the massage location.
Yep.
So it seems simple, but there might be more involved.
Correct.
So we'll put something together
I think
for
we-
you and bring it back at your next meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
This point. Discuss number 3 is to discuss the annual organizational meeting.
So these items come before you because you adopt them at the annual organizational meeting? So to give you the opportunity to review and reflect on whether or not you want changes, any of those various different things.
So we should have those on for the next meeting, just to review and make it an item?
Well, they're on this meeting.
Yeah, well, so it's not, but we can't vote on them on this one necessarily.
No, that would come back at organizational.
Right.
Right.
So just,
Right. So if you have changes, bring them forward to us.
Right.
Yeah.
So if anybody's looking at this, the elected officials, municipal and state protocols, and annual reminders, the code of conduct, executive session, a FOA, and records disposition, the town council administrative policy, and vacancy on boards and committees.
Yep.
So those would be the things that we discussed.
Right, and so you want comments prior to the business meeting in January, correct?
I need drafts, I need to have enough time to create a red line draft for you
Yeah.
in advance of my sending the packet out. So I need everything by the first week of January, middle of the week.
First week. yeah.
Yep, thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
So now we actually move to other council business. Councilor Pachati.
Good.
Councilor Thibodeau.
I am good.
Councilor Lawrence.
Yeah, this Friday, I think it's the 15th, I think. The Grange is having a senior luncheon at 11 o'clock to 2. And also, too, I'd like to wish the community a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, since this is our last meeting for this year. Also, too,
No, we're meeting,
You meet again at the end of the month?
Yeah, we're meeting
27th,
December
got a public
27th.
hearing.
But before
But
Christmas.
it'll be after.
But it'll be after Christmas,
we got another meeting?
the 27th. Yes.
I thought we always have one meeting in December.
No, we have a meeting on the 27th of December. We have done it before because it's fallen like the day before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
You still
I didn't know
have
that.
your 27th scheduled.
It was the only place I could put that public hearing for the land use ordinance and keep within the January 1st adoption deadline.
Yep.
Yep.
And I had a thought that I passed through the chair, since the ongoing issues with the community and everything else going on. I was just thinking maybe we can form another committee called a process action team. I've been involved in that many years in the military to have issues with protocols or other things from higher management, middle management, and lower personnel. So I was just thinking maybe we can form another committee to address ongoing issues, because I know as councilors have been seeing what's going on Facebook. Have that committee with some upper management, maybe some directors, the council members, and the community involved, so to have an idea of how to fix the issues that we're going through in Fairfield. So I'm just bringing that up.
Go ahead.
So what would the end result be?
And the results is trying to fix what's possibly everyone's thinking is broken. Communications, ongoing procedures from a higher management, from us to the residents.
So this would be in place of the public comments at the...
No, this is a update of what Larry thought of internal fixing all these issues. It was a good idea. Now we need the external part of it to include the residents to get in the process of thinking what maybe fix what Fairfield's going through right now. Because I know there's a lot of issues going on through what the residents are saying on Facebook. Maybe we can get the meeting of the minds going and try to get the community going in the right direction.
Yeah, you have to get...
You have to be approved by the chair to speak.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
To help you, Peter.
Yes.
Transparency and accountability. That's
Yes.
what we're looking for.
Yeah, right, correct.
So
What was your name again?
Carol Ann Bagnullo.
I can't say it either.
Bagnullo.
That's what I was just saying, Carol, and include the community too, because they have some great ideas, and to help us understand what the community is.
Communication.
Right.
So I
Transparency. Accountability.
So I think whether it's called a community outreach committee, something, whatever, what I would propose to you, with it being your idea, would be to kind of put that together, name how you structure that committee, and what the purpose of it is.
Okay.
Just like we did for buildings, just like we did for PFAS, just
Right.
along
That's
that
why I'm
line.
just thinking the ideas, the community have their thoughts right now about this. So what the council's idea on this.
Yeah.
And
so it provides that other conduit, right? I mean, right now, there is a conduit that is available, which is email and phone, and this meeting, right? So those are all conduits to really have a chance to discuss and have at least your comments out there. But to have constructive process, I would encourage you to form that committee, or at least to put the framework to what the purpose is, the size of it, just like we've done. So, and then we can look at something like that.
So that form that we created for those ad hoc committees exists, and it's blank format. If you don't have it in your email, let me know, we'll send it to you.
Yeah.
I just want the ideas from the community. Is it a good idea that we do this?
Yeah.
All right. So for the next meeting, that would be available, or do you have enough time to get that
I'll
put
try.
together for the 27th?
Yeah, if not, then it's a work in progress, and
Right.
first one, yeah.
And then you can just address it at your next one. So.
Okay.
So Steph.
All right.
Put it on the town, of our town meeting.
Yeah. All right. There are three things that I would like to talk about. The property for our next meeting on the agenda for the workshop, we do need to put down the good house.
Stole it.
Yeah, the property, and the history on that, so that everybody realizes what's going on. The other thing was the community center stove. I'm currently working on getting some proposals, and the new round of, first of all, the proposals are coming in. We need to decide, do we want to use ARPA money for it? So that's coming. And there's another round of grants that's due in February for resiliency, which includes the stove, the refrigerator, the dishwasher replacement, and other updates within the community center to make it a warming or a place of shelter on hot and cold days. So that's coming. That's just a little update for the public to know. It takes a while to get the proposals in. I've gotten one already from a business in Bangor, and Beatty's is working on one. And Beatty's, when the center was built, that the refrigerator came in that's a replacement refrigerator from the first one, and that was put in around 2010, somewhere in there. The stove was original to the building, as well as the dishwasher. And I've also asked Fortin's for a quote. So those things they're working on it. The third thing was, I think we need to have present a list of qualifications for the town manager and what it says in our town charter, so that people will know how we run as a municipality. And that will clear that up. The charter is online, but it needs to be said on air. So
So can, yeah.
yeah.
We can have that.
So those three things should be for the next
Okay.
agenda.
Yep.
And Jen King's thing with 16 Silver Street, if you could reach out to her and maybe
Tom is aware, we've talked about it
You
a
have,
couple of times,
so-
but, yeah.
Okay.
Interagency between police and fire and, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and then, yeah. The other thought I had was what Penny Harkins had talked about, how we're not supporting businesses and all that. That's a communication thing, so think about that when you're dealing with that committee idea, okay? Because there's different ways that communication affects other communications. Okay.
So-
I'm done now,
Okay.
for sure.
Just a quick question, do I need to file a formal request for the town manager's contract, or is that something I can expect in the next few days?
Oh, I forgot.
Just send, we have so much, please do the info@fairfield-me.gov. There's literally just mountains of things we're trying to get through. They're during the holidays, so we have limited time. I'd
But
appreciate
it's,
that, Shelley, thank you.
but it's public, so yeah, just
Yeah.
send that request.
Yeah.
The reason I'm asking, you're going into executive session to discuss some of that, and eventually you're going to be talking a contract again, and I think the public needs to know what you're actually dealing with and pay and that type of thing. So I think it's something that is necessary before you, if you vote on changing any contract or anything for that, but it's key for the public to actually get that information. So thank you, Christine, I will send you an email for that.
Yep, thank you.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're good.
No, Stephanie said you were gonna try to get something expeditiously done about the time frame on the, you know.
That will, again, let's set,
So I would, so Michelle, I would like to at least
yeah.
to have some communication with.
I will reach out to
powers-
Patrick tomorrow to
That'd be
let him
great.
know what the town council has done.
I would appreciate that, so
Yeah.
we could have action on that.
yeah, let's set it this way. The timeline, maybe we can get things working prior to the next December 27th. Of course, we're dealing with Christmas,
I would
too.
love to, yeah, we're dealing with Christmas, but I would love to see that thing up there for the new year.
Yeah.
I'd love to get it set up before we have more snow on the ground.
Yes,
That would be
Spot on.
ideal.
spot on.
More
More
snow on the ground. I forgot your name, sir.
Paul.
Paul.
Is that house
next to the library going to be on the next agenda?
Yes.
So I'm, yes.
Yes.
And that's why, hoping because you see how what time it is now. It's a big item, and so I was going to ask, in this part of the workshop, that we make sure that the demolition and the ultimate disposition of those houses was a item on it, so we can focus on that as an agenda item,
Yeah.
looking at the history and where things stand and potential disposition of that property.
Right, and just so that we're clear
Yep.
as to the information, I mean, you're going back 2008.
Yeah.
So I would
And
find that probably it was purchased or the talks
Yep.
began in 2006.
Yeah. Yep.
Anybody that's, so
We'll
all
get
of
the
that data
history.
would be important.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about possibly forming a committee. I think it's going to be essential for the
So
town.
that'll be part of the workshop, and that's, again, I appreciate your concern, and that's why I was,
Yeah.
again, what I said earlier, it was like, yeah, meeting's not over yet, because I think that was really an important thing. There was a lot here tonight to unpack.
I understand.
No, but so I think, so I want you to be clear on my end that I wasn't trying to evade you, that there's a lot going on, and that is an important issue, but it probably needs more time than what we have in this meeting, unless people want to stay till 10 o'clock.
No, I know what it's like to sit.
Yeah, so I appreciate that. So I was kind of accused of cutting you off, and again, that's why I was waiting till there, so it was still coming. So,
It'll be on next week's agenda.
Yeah, the
Correct.
27th. Yeah. Sir?
Yes. Eugene Bickford. I was just wondering, what about the house by Donnelly's? The old
Elliott
Donnelly
House.
store?
Yeah.
What's going to become of that?
The Elliott House has asbestos in it, and it needs to be raised at some point, which is
So we
very
own
possible.
that? The town owns that?
Yes.
Why are we
So
sitting on
that's-
these places so
yes.
long?
Because of the money.
So that's, can we definitely, so this is the item that we'll be addressing next time. And it's
Okay.
totally spot on, and I agree with you, and that's why we need to dedicate more time at the next meeting.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah.
So I get a chance to speak. So my issues were, number one, I really want to thank, I guess, everyone that came out and was involved, but especially the Tullys and Carol Ann, Bugnalio, something close. Bagnolo. If you say it like this, you can do it. Bagnolo. So I really appreciate the effort to round out some of the community to do something that's actually fun, you know? So thank you for that. It is great down there. I didn't even want to mention my tree, but then I got called, I got thrown under the bus, so I wanted to say I did put that tree out there, so we did come, so. But it really is great, and you drive by at nighttime, holy cow, it looks great. And at the same time, I want to thank, I put it out there, but the Public Works for getting some of the other lights in town, so you do have a little bit of festive spirit, so.
I just got one question. On the gazebo, when you drive by at night after work, that top railing and the stairs, it's not lit up.
No.
Somebody must have.
Okay, yeah, because I know we had issues when we lit it up.
Yeah. Time.
Yeah, okay.
There was a wedding going to be going on there too, by the way.
Cool.
You're all
Yeah,
invited.
I heard.
So thank you. So I just want to make sure we get that out there again. Thank you for that. I also want to congratulate the Lawrence Bulldogs, the football team. They ended up just short in the state championship game, but definitely a great job to get there, and also to get the sportsmanship award for their division. So that was well done. So you all play the game well, but you play it right, and that's so I think it's important to recognize that. The next one, and he's not here tonight, but I want Larry McDonald is actually finishing up his term as a council member. And I want to thank him publicly for his service to this council. He had always had his own agenda and opinions that made us a stronger unit. So he challenged us and challenged all of us to improve. So I enjoyed having him on this council. And I wish him good luck, and I hope he stays involved to some degree or another. I talked to him today. So I just want to, again, thank him publicly for everything he did for us. And then kind of comes down to a little bit of discussion about, how things have been going on in the last few weeks. So, when I was a young kid, probably 6, 7 years old, I started going to our town meetings every spring with my father. I learned about service, and how the town is involved with each other and how you work together and how you come to agreement. Some of the things I've seen said about town employees, about myself, about other counselors, about other members of the people of this community in this room. It angers me, but I think more so it saddens me to see the lack of respect and civility. People not asking the question, why? Just ask the question, why, before you make a statement. Why did this happen? Why is this being done? Why does somebody feel this way? So ask why. Town employees are feeling it on all levels. They are under stress, like any of us, but when they're being called out for doing their jobs, it makes their jobs even harder. So think of those people. Still doesn't excuse them from asking the question why and making us all better. We all want to get 1% better every day. If we do that every day, we're going to be really good. I saw one thing talking about mob rule. Really? Mob rule? That's ridiculous. Come ask me. Ask each other. Be kind to each other. Ask why. That's not how you change. A mob rule is not how you change. We have this discussion like this tonight. That's how we change. My father, who I talked about, served as a selectman later on, so like a town councilor. Served for a couple terms, lost by 3 votes, didn't ask for a recount. A woman who worked hard against him became my neighbor. You know, so we were respectful. We helped each other as neighbors. I'm worried about that not being the case anymore. Be involved, ask questions, but try to come from a place of abundance, which means you can give, and kindness and respect. So that's all I ask. And this time of the year, I just want to end on this parting thought that I wish you all peace and goodwill. Thank you.
Okay.
So that.
Motion.
The next regular meeting of the Fairfield Town Council will be held on Wednesday, August 24th, 2023.
7th.
What is this?
December 27th.
December 27th.
It was printed here.
That's that.
Old one.
That's
I started
the
reading it.
meeting.
Whoa.
Oopsie.
Yeah,
Somebody had that?
wait till next August.
Yeah.
No problem.
December 27th, 2023, to be held as next as a hybrid meeting in council chambers and via Zoom at 6:30 p.m. This time we will recess.
Motion to recess.
Second.
That's it.